My name is Tanisha Brignoni. I am a filmmaker, cook, and gardener, determined to show you what real Detroiters are thinking and doing. This is Candidly Speaking. This week on Candidly Speaking.
Systems are put in place quite often without Black-bodied people or marginalized communities sitting at that table.
Ingrid, welcome to Candidly Speaking. I'm glad you were able to join us. I know you've been very busy.
Thank you so much for having me, Tanisha.
You're welcome. So tell us what's been going on. I know you just had a seminar on blockchain. You want to tell us what that is exactly?
Sure. It's something that I'm learning about myself. I've spent the past 6 months trying to understand it. I proposed using cryptocurrency as a way for creating universal basic income in Detroit when I was running for mayor last summer. And people were like, okay, let's create something. Let's try and make this happen. And I was like, wait, I need to figure out what the technology is. You know, I think a lot of us understand about Bitcoin. It's a digital currency, especially since it spiked up to 20,000. Now it's about around 9,000 in value compared to the US dollar. But I think that with blockchain technology, which is the technology underneath the cryptocurrency, that's where the excitement lies. There's so much innovation that is present there. We have no idea what the potential is for blockchain technology. We haven't exhausted it yet. And so that's why I'm really, as I'm learning about the technology, really wanting to bring in as many people as possible, especially Black communities, to understand that this technology exists. And I just don't want us to miss out yet again. And yeah.
When you say again, what do you mean by that?
Well, I think that systems are put in place quite often without Black-bodied people or marginalized communities sitting at that table to decide how that system will function best for them. And I think oppressed people always know what could work best. We have better ways of understanding future consequences for things because we deal with them. So I think it's really important, though, to understand that the moment that we're at right now, we have the opportunity to actually cultivate something, but through our participation, because the door is wide open.
Because it's new.
Because it's so new. When the internet came out, we were young, right? And the computer came out. You can do it. It was used. You can do it. I remember my professors in college telling me I couldn't do research on the internet yet. It was not a trusted resource.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was such such a young stage, right? And a lot of us got our emails maybe in college right after. We were almost passive in that way. We became consumers because it was kind of developing unless you decided to go into technology.
So you feel like blockchain is equivalent to what computers were back then?
I think it's even over and beyond. Now that we have an understanding of computers and internet, we understand how technology goes across all industries, whatever your interest is, you're affected by the new technology. And so that's what I'm trying to get across with blockchain technology. We have to have an understanding of it. It doesn't matter what you do. If you're a lawyer, if you're an accountant, if you're an artist, if you're a dancer, it doesn't matter. Everyone will be affected by it in your business, and your operations will be affected by it. Certain roles, certain jobs will no longer exist. Cryptocurrency is basically a digital currency that is a peer-to-peer transaction, meaning there's no bank involved. no third party. So it's decentralized
Okay.
in that way. And our transactions are then verified. So there is a place where we're going to verify your identity, verify my identity, and then that transaction is then recorded, and it's recorded on a blockchain.
Okay.
And a blockchain is essentially a ledger that is immutable and transparent. So everybody can see that this transaction happened. We might not know exactly who. There's no name necessarily attached to it, but there is an ID. And it can never be changed. So a good example, supply chains. So companies essentially could potentially say, hey, my supply chain is clean and it's sustainable and it does not support child labor. Because you can see from the moment that the cotton is grown all the way to the shirt ending up at the store, where it goes and what happens, right? So it's a way of kind of checking ethics and moral values.
That's an awesome idea.
Right? Do you have a particular way that you cut your garlic?
No, I usually just slice it. Depends on what the recipe is, because I don't mind like big chunks of garlic. I actually like garlic, so I'm not picky.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I'm like, any lover that I have must deal with my garlic.
Right. It's good for you. It keeps you healthy. I think that's why I never get sick.
Right, yeah.
I eat a lot of garlic. I love the way lemon smells.
I know. I love the zest. Got the garlic. So it's as chopped as we're going to do it today.
Now, when you ran for mayor, you proposed an idea for D-Coin, I believe it's called, or D-Dollar or something like that? D-Coin, it was D-Coin. Explain to us what that was exactly.
Yeah, I was looking at the city of Detroit and wanting to address the poverty issue and the cycle, just end the cycle. I thought that maybe if we did a universal basic income, half of it would be in fiat currency, which is our dollars, and then the other half would be in cryptocurrency that we would create called a D-Coin. And so the reason that I want us to create it is that there is a way to make money off of it if we, as a city, mine that coin.
Right.
Meaning we do the verifying of every transaction that's mining. Also, it's a way of circulating money through a city to support local businesses and really help us kind of strengthen and grow and maybe create a e-residency.
I think that's an awesome idea because you're rejuvenating the dollars within the community.
Yeah.
So you're going to the the neighborhood stores and the barber shops or whatever, and they're all exchanging this money.
Right.
So the money stays there. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's very futuristic.
Yeah, I think it's important to always plant the seeds and see what happens.
Yeah.
I might not be the one to do it, but at least the seeds are planted.
Now, do you see yourself running for mayor again?
If the conditions were right, I have some really awesome ideas for not just what I want the city to do, but how to present the plan and really get people involved. And so if I'm able to carry that out and kind of use some new technology to make it happen, then yes. But yeah, it has to be right. It probably won't be this next cycle, that's for sure.
Yeah. You don't feel like that's the time.
No, it took me almost 6 months to recover from campaigning.
Oh,
Jesus.
it's exhausting.
That's why Hillary Clinton took a walk in the woods.
Yeah.
It's real. All right. There's that garlic and some salt and pepper mix.
That looks kind of dangerous there.
A little dangerous. All right, so while that is boiling, we are going to chop up some asparagus first. Do you compost at all?
I don't, but yes, I do in this when it gets warm out, but not vegetables usually.
Okay.
I use mostly coffee grinds and eggshells.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because vegetables I read it doesn't add a whole lot to the compost, so
Okay.
I don't normally even bother with them.
Okay. Interesting.
And it's so male-dominated, politics are. Now, how was your experience with that, being a female candidate?
I think that one of the more frustrating moments, I think certain parts of it you expect it's going to come.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, the more frustrating parts was communication.
Mm-hmm.
I would say something and I thought I was being very direct and clear,
Mm-hmm.
and men would respond. They thought I was all over the place,
Mm-hmm.
or they didn't really know what my issues were.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Right.
what's her platform?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm saying it. So what I learned was that as a woman,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be extra direct,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to know your statistics.
Mm-hmm.
And people will take you seriously.
And it's like you
cannot
have
be
to, even if they don't
emotional.
know their statistics, you
Right.
have to know yours, because a lot of men, when they
Period.
talk, especially politicians, it's
Yes.
just fluff.
I know. They have to be more emotional, I
Mhm.
think, and passionate.
Mm-hmm.
And then women have to be more
Factual.
like, factual.
And wow, calculations. And
hyper
that's
assertive.
interesting.
And so when I came out with my platform a couple weeks before the primary, I was talking about UBI and cryptocurrency and blockchain technology,
Mm-hmm.
and I gained more male votes as a
Mhm.
result of that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more support,
Mhm.
and I was surprised because it was the most radical plan of action.
Mhm.
Actually, nobody else came up with a plan of action.
They have I was going to say, they even
They
have
had
a plan.
platform, but they didn't do a plan of action.
Yeah.
I think is a little different. Like,
Yes, it
what am I
is.
going to do?
Exactly.
And so that's what I said, and I said something kind of wild, but it brought people closer, and I think they respected that I was willing to go out on a limb and talk about things, but they weren't really that far-fetched.
This is probably a better night for these.
Thank you. I was craving pasta too.
Mhm.
Super excited
Oh my
about it.
God, it was so good. The last time I had it, I
Right.
kept thinking about it. Like, I want that pasta dish that Ingrid made. I'm gonna have her come on my show and make it so that everybody can see how easy it is.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
It's filled with all these gorgeous colors. I think a lot about colors in
Mhm.
food.
Yes.
So I always like to have green represented, red, orange. The balance is key. I think the Obamas gave us a really good example of that. They did an excellent job. No one can ever critique that. Even in his imperfections, he made it all the way to the White House, right? So
he did something right.
Regardless,
Exactly. For two
he was
terms
able,
at that.
Yeah, he was able to bring so much beauty and class and
And
elegance.
see, once you have that, it's just like in relationships. Once you have a man that treats you well, you can never
Right.
go back to bullshit.
I know, and this is why we're having issues. We got issues with this president. But you know what? The thing that I love about him, Mr. 45, is that he has forced us to reimagine government. Because he's constantly questioning all the procedures of government and departments and roles, I think it's really the time for us to go even further and fully push it, because it is a system that is broken.
Yes, it is. That's
and
true.
It is a system that needs to change. We might not agree with how he wants to change it, but we do agree it needs to change.
Right.
And so for us, especially Afrofuturists, we can that's the time to let's get everyone reimagining government. What does a government look like when it's considering Black bodies? Because I don't trust white men making decisions for us.
Don't have a good
Yeah,
track
they
record.
just, it's none. Not
even
anywhere
for white
in this
women,
world.
you know. So they don't have a great track record for anybody other than themselves, you know.
Oh, God bless them, Lord.
Yeah.
We just want them to sit right here. They're good for things like organization.
Yeah.
They can organize some shit, that's for sure.
Right.
But like I just really want more diverse voices. It's never about excluding. But I think that we can develop a future that is not so dystopian. And the way that it's going, it could definitely be, Black Mirror kind of on Netflix.
Yes.
Kind of drops seeds
I
of
love
how it
Black
could just
Mirror
go
for that
really
reason.
wrong.
Yes, it does.
Like,
everybody should watch
like
Black Mirror if you haven't. Because it's like, to me, it's like a reality check. I'm like, oh yeah, this could definitely happen, and it could happen soon.
Look, I took some measures. I've only seen 2 episodes, and I've already taken measures. So there's Jennifer Curlin is running for governor under the Green Party.
Is she the one with the dark hair, or?
She has dark hair.
I think I saw her. Okay.
And she's great. She has fresh ideas, very forward-thinking, human-centered. Love her. So I was thinking this summer of helping her campaign throughout the state, and then I get to see different parts of the state.
Right.
Because I didn't even know Michigan has wine country. Like, why aren't we talking about that?
I've never heard of that.
Well, let's go.
I know they have beer, but yes, I want to do that. That sounds fun. I was visiting your website, and I saw a performance piece that you did I believe it's called The Resonance, was it?
Yeah.
Would you like to tell us about that? I want everyone to see it, so explain to us exactly what it is.
Nice. That was my first and really only full-on performance piece. It was me trying to really honor and respect the people who had to endure one of the first genocides of the 20th century. And it happened in what is now Namibia, which is on the west coast of Africa, closer to South Africa, but north of it. And what happened was that the Germans created a concentration camp on Shark Island, which is right off the coast. And they had the Nama and the Herero there. And they took the bodies and dead bodies and boiled them and had women scrape the bones clean with broken glass. And so, I was just like, wow, that's so crazy that they're intentionally harming these Black bodies and testing methods of genocide that they've later further developed and used during the Holocaust in Europe. And so, it's an untold story. Many Germans don't know about it. Many people don't know that happened. Namibia has been asking for their bones back because the clean bones would be sent to Germany, to universities for study. And they're just all looking at race hierarchies based on skeletal bone structures.
That's insane. It's very
just
insane.
Just a pseudoscience that is just all about harming and just creating power out of nothing. That is so true. So this is the Parmesan cheese. Do it in layers. I like a lot of cheese. You like a lot of cheese?
Yes. I only eat it once in a while now because I love cheese. That's my cheese and bread.
Cheese and
Those
bread.
are the 2 things I have to cut back on.
I know.
Yeah, but I love them. See, I'm a food connoisseur. I like real food. I'm waiting for somebody to come and show me some really good, vegan food, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Because I haven't had any yet.
So I was speaking to a German audience.
Oh, you were? I didn't know that.
So I really wanted them to know about their own history so they don't keep repeating the trauma because the trauma was already repeated. They instituted 2 genocides, not one. And so, I think that has to really sink in. And so for me, doing the performance of 3 hours, I was scraping cow bones with broken glass and just bleeding. And and I placed the bones in a Merkaba. In the video, you see the Merkaba drawn on the floor with candles. And the Merkaba is really this really ancient way of like dimensional travel. And so this is my way of kind of the bones like being released into the cosmos. This is the lemon zest that I'm going to swirl around. It was making all that noise. Thank you. This is going to give it a nice bright flavor. I'm flinging cheese everywhere, sorry.
No, it's fine.
I am not Martha Stewart.
Girl, I'm a messy cook. My grandmother said a messy cook is a good cook.
Oh, nice.
So if you're not a messy cook, then you're not a good cook because you're trying to be careful instead of making sure that the food is right.
Right, that can be said for so many things.
Exactly.
Oh.
Tomatoes everywhere! Tomatoes! Run away.
They make it look so easy on TV. That was not easy. Move that off. Great, I think we're done.
We're done?
There's some red pepper if you want it spicy. Okay. I'll leave that up to individuals. So this is the pasta primavera with shrimp. We have some asparagus, some basil, some Parmesan cheese, some fresh tomatoes, one pot cooking. Yeah, it didn't take too long.
No, it didn't. It was like maybe 20 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
It's really quick, easy recipe.
I put some red pepper in there, some lemon zest. It's going to be a little spicy.
All right, let me try this out. It's delicious. Just a little bit of spice.
It's very delicious. Thank you for letting me make it here.
Oh, I appreciate you coming and preparing this meal. You said you wanted to talk about sex, but now you're not saying anything.
Yes. When my interview with Adrienne Marie Brown for my podcast, Age of Future News, we had a conversation about pleasure activism. She was saying that Black bodies having orgasms is basically a rebellion in itself because we're not supposed to expect any pleasure. And I was like, yes, orgasms for the revolution. That is, I am so down for it. I can do that as often as needed.
Right. Orgasms for the revolution. That's funny.